Leadership isn't about being untouchable. It's about being real. The more you accept that leadership includes doubt, emotions, and evolution, the more powerful and grounded you actually become. Hello, and welcome back to Rebel to Rise, where business meets human design, and where we break free from the rules we never agreed to in the first place. So today, I want to talk about something I've seen come up over and over again with my clients, in my own journey, and in so many conversations with leaders and business owners alike. It's the belief that, by now, you should have it all figured out. That clarity should feel constant, that leadership should feel polished, and that at a certain level of success, the messiness should go away. But here's the truth. There is nothing wrong with you if you sometimes feel messy, unsure, or wobbly. You are exactly where you are meant to be. I've worked with leaders of all ages and all stages, from first-time founders to multi-million-dollar CEOs. And you know what they all have in common? They all still feel messy and unsure at times. Because this idea that leaders are supposed to be rock solid and totally clear 24/7 is a myth. A sneaky, heavy myth that makes you question yourself when you're actually just growing. You're evolving. You don't have to have it all mapped out to lead. You don't have to be at a certain level to be magnetic. And you definitely don't need to hide your humanness to be taken seriously. So today, we're peeling that back. I'm going to share what it's really like to lead from the middle of the mess. And especially as someone as myself who is a 6'4" profile in human design. And even if you're not a 4'6" profile, this episode is for you because at its core, it's about permission. Permission to live, learn, and lead in seasons and not checklists. Permission to evolve, to change your mind, to not be perfect, and still be able to show up powerfully. So let's dive into it. First, I want to bust the myth that real leaders are always confident, always polished, always in control. That once you reach a certain level of success, you magically stop doubting yourself. That you'll feel calm, clear, and confident at all times. That leadership means never showing the cracks. But here's what that mindset actually creates. It creates perfectionism, isolation, burnout, and a whole lot of imposter syndrome. When you believe you should always have it together, you start hiding the moments when you don't. You stop asking for support. You pile on more pressure. You overthink every move. You second guess your timing, your decisions, and your worth. And when you're a leader, especially a heart-led one, the internal pressure you're putting on yourself can be paralyzing. You tell yourself, I should know this by now. I should feel more excited about this. I should have it all figured out. So instead of leading from clarity or curiosity, you lead from stress, from fear of being found out, from trying to manage how you're perceived instead of owning how you feel. I know firsthand how exhausting that is. Leadership isn't about being untouchable. It's about being real. It's about learning to lead while you're still evolving, and especially when you're in the messy middle, because perfectionism isn't magnetic. Perfectionism isn't going to be how you get people to follow you. Presence is. And that means the more you accept that leadership includes doubt, emotions, and evolution, the more powerful and grounded you actually become. So let me bring this closer to home for a minute, because this myth of the polished, always in control leader is something I've danced with more times than I can count. Starting out, I used to think once I hit a certain milestone, once I knew more, once I had more clients, once I felt more official, then I'd feel steady, confident, like a real leader. But that moment never magically arrived for me. Even now, I still have seasons where I question things, where I want to hide, where I wonder if I'm doing enough or being enough. And that's what helped me soften into my leadership again and again. This understanding of how I'm designed, which brings me to human design, and more specifically, my profile. In human design, your profile is how you show up and move through life. It's the costume you wear in this lifetime, the role you came here to play. And when you play your role well, people just don't notice, they're drawn to it. It's your it factor, that magic that's hard to explain but easy for others to feel. Your profile shapes how you lead, how you learn, how you connect, and how people experience you. My profile is a 4-6, which means two big energies are at play in how I show up. Line 4 is the opportunist, deeply relational and thrives on connection and community. The line 6 is the role model, here to embody wisdom through lived experience, but not without a few pivots and twists first. When I first learned I was a 4-6, the line 4 made total sense. I love people. Some of my favorite moments in life are sitting with close friends on a couch or around a campfire, just having real, meaningful conversations. I could do that for hours. I love getting to know people. But the line 6? Ooh, that one took me a time to embody. Because role model did not feel like me. I felt like a mess at the time. It sounded like way too much pressure to be seen as someone who had it all together, so people would look up to me. And though I am a Leo, I did not see myself as a role model. But that's not what being a 6th line is really about. And in just a second, I'll walk you through the 3 distinct life phases of a 6th line so you can understand this more deeply, whether you have this profile or not. Because even if you're not a 6th line, you might feel these same fears. The fear of being seen before you're ready. The resistance to leadership because it feels too final. The desire to retreat when things don't go as planned. So let's dive into what my journey actually looked like. Here's the thing no one tells you about being a leader. You're not born a role model. You become one. And the process is messy, human, non-linear, and incredibly powerful. As a 6th line, my life has 3 major life phases, and understanding them changed everything for me. Phase 1 is from birth to around age 30, the experimental bump and tumble era. In this phase, I didn't know it, but I wasn't here to get everything right. I was here to try things, fail, and learn through experience. This was my entire 20s to a T. I was experimental, ambitious, passionate, willing to try anything. It was fun, but I also hit some walls. Whether it was stretching myself too thin, the people I surrounded myself with, trusting the wrong advice, or putting pressure on myself to be perfect. I had to learn what didn't work before I could even get a glimpse of what did. And if I'm honest, back then I hated that. I felt like something was wrong with me because I couldn't figure it out. I couldn't figure out what I was doing. It made me feel behind, like I couldn't quite catch up to this polished version of myself I thought I should be. But now I see the beauty in that era. It gave me some great stories. It gave me depth, it gave me perspective, and more importantly, it gave me compassion. My next phase, phase 2, started around age 30, and it is my retreat and integration era, and what human design likes to call up on the roof. This is where things get very interesting. As a 6th line, after all that experimental trial and error and being super social, I started feeling a pull to step back, not to check out, but to zoom out. This roof phase was a big internal battle for me. What was wrong with me? Why didn't I want to do some of the things I used to love? Why was I putting less effort into relationships? Why did I want to be alone more often? It also didn't help that I ended a decades-long relationship, so there was a lot of emotions going on and I was recharting the single life. But what I've learned as I go through my second phase is it's more about retreating into my own rhythm, processing my lessons, reconnecting with my truth, and getting clear on what actually matters to me and what I want. For me, this phase started right around a time I began deconditioning from the beliefs and expectations I had absorbed my whole life. I let go of all the shoulds that had me overworking, overgiving, and second-guessing myself. I gave myself space to experiment differently, and this time with more intention and less urgency. And while part of me felt guilty for not wanting to do more, I started to trust that slowing down isn't falling behind. It's coming home to myself. Now, I'm not in my phase 3 yet. That starts around age 50. And it's the embodied era where I step into the true role model. And as a sixth line, that is when I come off the roof and step fully into visibility. Not because I'll be perfect then, but because I've become who I'm meant to be. People don't look at the sixth line for perfection. They look to them for embodiment, for wisdom earned through lived experience, for the quiet confidence of someone who's walked through the fire and learned to lead with both strength and softness. Even though I'm technically still in my phase 2, I can already feel this next phase calling me, because every time I show up in my fullness, every time I speak from experience instead of expertise, every time I trust I don't need to know it all to serve powerfully, that's when my leadership lands the deepest. It's not about being untouchable and perfect. It's about being human, grounded, and willing to keep growing and evolving. Becoming familiar with your gifts of your profile helps you become more at ease in work and business by highlighting your strengths and deepening trust in your role, because when you understand your profile, you start to see the patterns in how you learn, connect, share, and contribute. It's like getting a permission slip to show up as yourself instead of trying to emulate someone else's leadership style. You'll gain confidence in leveraging the unique advantages of your personality, while also recognizing which tasks within projects or partnerships or collaborations are better suited for others and that aren't for you. You'll lean into your natural strengths so you can build a business that supports your energy. You'll understand how to collaborate with people who complement your genius, and you'll trust your own pace instead of constantly feeling like you're behind. This isn't just about personal growth. It's deeply practical. It's not just self-awareness. It's permission to lead your way. And here's what I want you to really take away from this. You don't need to be in your final form to be a leader. You don't have to have it all figured out. You don't need to speak from the mountaintop. You can share from the middle of the mess, because real leadership isn't about certainty. It's about integrity. It's about showing up aligned, grounded, and true to who you are, even while you're still evolving. So as we wrap up this episode, I want to leave you with 2 gentle reflection prompts. Where are you wanting to be perfect before you lead? And where are you being called to trust your timing, even if you feel behind? Because you're not behind. You're not late. You're exactly where you're meant to be. And the more you trust that, the more powerful and magnetic you become. So wherever you are right now, in a season of curiosity, uncertainty, messiness, growth, or retreat, I hope this episode reminds you of this. You can trust the season you're in. You can trust yourself. You don't have to wait until everything is polished to lead powerfully. And if you're feeling curious about your human design profile, maybe you've heard you're a 1-3 or a 2-4 or something else, but you're not quite sure what that means, I've got you. Head to my website and I'll leave a link below where you can generate your free human design chart to see what your profile means. And if you want to go even deeper, I'll leave the link below to check out my human design reports that walk you through your profile, your leadership style, and how you could actually use what you're learning about yourself in business. Because when you understand the role you're here to play, you stop trying to be someone else and you start leading in a way only you can. If this episode spoke to you, I'd love to hear from you. Let me know what landed, shoot me a message, leave me a review, or better yet, send this to a friend who might need this reminder too. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are becoming who you are meant to be. And I'll be there cheering you on every step of the way. Until next time, keep rebelling, keep rising. Thank you for joining me on today's episode of Rebel to Rise, where business meets human design. I hope you feel inspired to break free from those shoulds in your life and trust your inner compass as you create a life and business that truly lights you up. Remember, every day is a chance to rebel against the ordinary and rise into your authentic power. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, leave a review, and share it with a fellow rebel who's ready to lead their lives unapologetically. Until next time, keep trusting your intuition, keep breaking the rules, and most importantly, keep rising.